Hi, my name is Chris Dutton and I work at the Bridge Family Center with our school and community-based programs. I wanted to say thank you for listening. Even when we're excited about a change, the prospect of change can often spark a stress response. This is usually related to the uncertainty associated with changes. During this time of unprecedented change and uncertainty, most, if not all of us, are living in a state of heightened stress, which can lead to feelings of anxiety and panic, even in people who typically manage their stress and uncertainty well. Stress is a natural, healthy response to an external event or challenge. It often shows up as nerves, anger, and frustration. It can also feel for some people like fuel for change or action, which is why some people seem to thrive in stressful or crisis situations. Anxiety is a person's individual, internal response to feeling stress. It's often characterized by the weight of that initial stress, an increase in tension, persistent worry, intrusive and spiraling thoughts. People who often struggle with anxiety sometimes describe those spiraling thoughts as going down the rabbit hole, where one thought leads to another, and leads to another. That spiral of worry continues, and a reasonable thought can link to a slightly less rational thought, and so on until thoughts become so distorted that a person struggles to maintain their composure. This can occur even in the absence of the original stressor. That's where that intrusive thought piece comes in. It also can be triggered by seemingly unrelated thought patterns. Having anxious thoughts, especially when under stress, is also a totally normal human response. But when that pattern of anxiety occurs at a level that interrupts a person's day-to-day functioning, then that anxiety has become problematic and is a sign that it might be time to ask for some help. Panic is related to stress and anxiety in that it's often triggered by one or the other, but it becomes a more intense feeling. It's described as an intense attack of anxiety that leads to feelings of impending doom, trembling, sweating, a pounding heartbeat. Often, people who are having a panic attack worry that it's the experience of a medical emergency, and that certainly doesn't help that feeling of impending doom. When someone is experiencing panic, it's really important that they ground themselves. Maybe try saying out loud something like, if I can talk, I can breathe. Introducing some comforting sensory input, maybe going outside barefoot or chewing on ice, or petting your pet, or taking some deep, slow breaths to try to control your breathing. We'll talk more about how to ground yourself in another video. In the meantime, it's important to try to manage your stress level. Take care of yourself. Limit your intake of news. Know and practice what works for you under more typical circumstances. And those things can help during this time of our global pandemic. If you're starting to feel yourself go down a rabbit hole of anxiety, try some thought stopping. You can stop with an extra P. First, you just stop and take a breath. Observe what you're feeling. Try to get some perspective on what's happening. Say to yourself, hey, this is a normal response to what's happening in our world. And then practice what you already know works for yourself. Most importantly, don't be afraid to ask for help. Talk to a loved one, a good friend, or seek support from a trained professional. We're here at the Bridge and we're happy to talk to anyone that needs help making sense of the world around them right now. Again, thank you for listening.